Welcome to the exam sale video on the Dell Specialist Implementation Engineer Isilon Solutions exam. This video will cover the exam syllabus, highlighting the key topics and domains you need to focus on to pass the exam. Let's get started. The Dell Specialist Implementation Engineer Isilon Solutions exam consists of 5 domains, each carrying a specific weightage. The domains are Isilon Implementation Strategy at 22%, Isilon File Access at 22%, Isilon Identity Management and Authorization at 20%, Isilon Cluster Setup at 18%, and Isilon Network Configuration at 18%. The first domain, Isilon Implementation Strategy, focuses on architectural design and pre-deployment planning for 1FS clusters. In this domain, you'll learn about 1FS architecture and node types, where you'll differentiate between Isilon node types and generations, identify backend and frontend network requirements, explain the 1FS file system structure and data layout, define caching mechanisms, analyze drive and node protection levels, and determine the impact of virtual nodes versus hardware nodes. Additionally, under the Isilon Implementation Strategy domain, you'll also learn about Isilon Implementation Planning, where you'll validate site power and cooling requirements, identify cabling requirements for InfiniBand and Ethernet backends, review the pre-installation site survey documentation, assess cluster expansion and scaling limitations, and plan for physical installation of Gen 6 and PowerScale chassis. Moving on to the second domain, Isilon File Access, which focuses on configuration and management of data access protocols. In this domain, you'll learn about NFS and SMB protocol implementation, where you'll configure SMB shares and global configuration settings, implement NFS exports and handle export rules, manage SMB share level permissions and user mapping, configure NFS v3 and v4 protocol specific settings, and optimize protocol performance for high throughput workloads. Under the Isilon File Access domain, you'll also learn about HDFS and S3 data access, where you'll enable and configure the HDFS service for big data, implement S3 buckets and access keys for object storage, define multi-protocol access logic for shared data sets, troubleshoot common protocol-specific access issues, and configure HDFS rack awareness and data pipes. The third domain, Isilon Identity Management and Authorization, focuses on authentication, directory services, and access control. In this domain, you'll learn about authentication providers and access zones, where you'll configure Active Directory and LDAP directory services, implement access zones to provide multi-tenancy, manage local users and groups within 1FS, configure provider priority and search order, and troubleshoot authentication connectivity and latency. Additionally, under the Isilon Identity Management and Authorization domain, you'll also learn about permissions and RBAC, where you'll apply role-based access control for administration, manage POSIX and ACL permissions on files and folders, explain the Isilon permission repair job logic, implement file filtering and screening policies, and configure UMask and permission inheritance behaviors.